What is it, mortal? Until the decay claims me. Any fool knows that resistance to magic is not the same as warding it. You can feel the flame licking against your skin, pinch it like a feather.
All right, Hag. Any last words?
You're going to let her speak after what she's done.
It's the right of any mortal.
And what about Decatus? Did this hag give him his say?
Zorax is right, Calera. We don't have to stoop to their level. Besides, I want to hear her beg.
So, Hag, what of it? Anything to say before we send you to the gods?
7 days.
What's that? Speak up, witch!
In 7 days, a fall will descend on your houses. It will consume your livestock, your spouses, your children. And it will continue for all eternity, until the 4 of you are forever bound to the void!
Well, that was disappointing. I thought she'd at least offer us gold.
Monsters don't fear death, and they have no understanding of mercy. It was wrong to let her speak.
Perhaps you're right. But either way, she's dead now. Torqueto's soul will have peace.
I hope my husband doesn't find out about this. I promised him when we married no more adventures. Poor Decatus. He could have settled down like the rest of us, but he loved the hunt more than any woman.
Hags and their curses. My children drink rot meth for breakfast. There's nothing in this world that can kill them. Decatus was a fool, but he was also a friend. Shame what happened to him.
This isn't your concern, stranger. Best you move along.
I would have enjoyed watching this hag plead for her life.
We're witch hunters. We fight to cleanse the land of their foul sorcery. An old Argonian friend of ours. A few years back, a lot of us quit the group to stay home and raise a family. Torquetus, he was more of a loner, so he kept up the fight on his own. She was a witch. Gods only know the evil she's wrought, but she won't be a nuisance any longer. I suppose you could say that, although it's been some time since we've gotten together like this. But when I heard what happened to Torquetus, I didn't have a choice but to avenge his death. She was a witch. Gods only know the evil she's wrought. I suppose, but when I heard what happened to Torquetus, I didn't have a choice but to avenge his death.
Hags and their curses. My children drink rot meth.
I hope my husband doesn't find out about this. I promised him when we married no more adventures.
Lay waste to your foes and then lead. Do
Being awake is so dull.
Thoring runs the inn. Speak to him.
I take it you think I'm the captain of the Sea Squall? It must be the beard. Hate to disappoint you, but not every person who wears a beard is a rugged leader of men. Some of us are just ruggedly handsome. No, the one you want to talk to is the boy, Captain Leaf Wayfinder. The old captain was like that. A born slave and ugly as a ghoul, with her bosom that touched her toes. Thank RK he finally offed the hag, left us with the boy. Although I can't say I enjoyed looking at the travesty he wears on his face.
Those were the days. I'd never seen my husband
Well,
fight so
have you
bravely
seen it?
before.
The thing makes him look like some sort of diseased owl.
Divines bless his memory.
I know the youth like to style their beards. You got kids today with moustaches and mutton chops, forks and sparrows, puffs and patches. Well, I say mutton chops are for mutton heads. Forked beards mean forked tongues. And whatever the captain is sporting is worse than all of them. Well, the ship's got but one mast, so it's not the fastest vessel and it doesn't handle particularly well either. But she's sturdy and has a hull bigger than a witness's backside. So you know the cargo is going to get there, if not on
I
time.
can't imagine Skuld ever being young.
Oh, he was young and handsome.
I've yet to see a storm strong enough to capsize her,
Mind to go
although
after
one
him
came
myself.
close when we were
before I
off
met
the
my
coast
husband.
of the Iliac Bay.
Frida, you aren't saying...
Wasn't really a storm so
Oh, it
much
was a
as the
beauty, my
waves.
dear.
They eddied
Don't
and
act so
swayed with no
surprised.
direction, as if the ocean itself were as confused. When the eye hit us, I ran over to the port side and emptied my stomach. It's then that I saw a school of shadowy figures pass under the hull. Dolphins, I thought. Only something was odd about the way their
You have
tails
ended
lashed under
this
the
town's
water,
nightmares,
and the curve of
like
their bodies
Darius
is what
Shana
like
before
no
them,
fish I know.
Now they will be tortured by the
And
silence.
their heads. Long, wispy, almost like hair. And when it strummed the water, I could almost hear the melody of the ocean in my head. I've heard of such creatures, but these were deep waters. No place for serpent women. And it doesn't explain the tail section. Shaped like the fluke of a whale, but it's shivered like elven glass. Ravam is the Dunmer who's always complaining about the captain. In truth, the sodding elf's lazier than I am, but he has too much pride to let anyone know it. I'm gonna find a new ship, he says. Ha! Where else can a man get paid to lie around the dock all day and hoot at the mining girls?
How could I forget? That old alpha male almost took off my
He
leg.
complains.
Never did
That's the
find out why
pride
they came
talking.
crawling into town like that.
He doesn't like taking
Animals of the
orders
pale
from a
don't need
child.
reason to attack
He'll
dogs.
get over it.
It's just their nature.
I'd sooner shave my beard than help him. Ravam is prideful and ambitious. A bad mix of ale if you ask me. The first thing he'd want to do is prove he's a real captain. And that'll mean some risky venture out into the sea of ghosts. The sooner he stops caring about what people think, the sooner he'll be able to enjoy the reign of Captain Shorefinder. The old mariner's got one foot in the trench already, and he ain't the type to make waves. Besides, he thinks the boy is learning. What he means by that is anyone's
Did
guess.
you ever have to fight
The
off
boy
bandits
doesn't even know how to tie his
like in these
shoes.
stories?
Can't see how he can hoist a sail.
Alongside your father when we were both younger. Saved him
I
from
do,
getting his full head
but
sliced
wasn't
off.
sure if you wanted to hear my
Who were you
critique.
fighting against?
Guthrum has one of those
Really,
wispy
it
moustaches
was
that looks
so
like a whale's
long
fluke.
ago.
Man
But
needs
I
to act his
do
age and get a
remember
beard.
the celebration
That's
we
for
had
Ravam.
afterwards.
Can't say as much of anything,
We'd never
which is
tasted
probably
so
for the
good.
best. Better than to not even
Dawn
try than
star.
grow one out and look like
The
a
sea is
fool.
calm here, waving gently like the Proscato.
Fine.
The lighthouse standing tall as the statue of Syracuse.
That's a good question.
Yet it is far
I like the
more
ocean, but I don't love it. I'm not like these salt sniffers who use clams as coin purses and have more barnacles on their crotch than hair. I guess I chose it because it's the thing I hate the least. And every day I see these miners walk out soaked in sweat, I realise I made the right choice. Although, If I were a miner, I reckon I'd figure out some way to weasel out of working. No point breaking your back for a job with no future. Couldn't stomach it. All these children working in with a couple of strands of sewer in their face, asking me to trim their beard. Then you got them old Nords. They got beards so mangy they got a colony of birds roosting inside. Thanks, but no thanks. Sure. It happened when I was but a minnow, working on a different boat. I was more stowaway than deckhand. Now you hear stories about men going overboard, getting swept away by a rough wind or going mad from the heat. Most of them get picked up, but some captains will let a man drown. If that happens, there is no way a man can survive. Except on this voyage. We found a man, 8 days off the shore, and there he was, clinging to a plank out in the middle of nowhere. Maybe if he was an Argonian, it would have made sense. Only this man was an Imperial, and by all accounts he had nothing more than a cold. He never said so much as a word the rest of the voyage, but he had the crew spooked. It was more than just the circumstances of his arrival. Foolish as I was, I tried to speak with him once. Only the captain himself wrenched me aside and told me to stay away. Yes and no. It wasn't until we docked at Solitude and the Imperial went on his way that the captain took me aside. He asked me, "Are you blind, boy? Did you not see the dagger? The way that Imperial was dressed?" I was never much one for paying attention, but like a sailor mapping a constellation, I began to connect the stars. It's not as if the clothes and the dagger hailed from across the ocean, but they were just foreign enough to be strange. "I suppose you know naught of history, boy," the captain said, "but the hilt on his dagger and the style of his tunic are not from this time. Yet, that dagger was as fresh as codling, forged maybe 3 weeks before we left dock, and not a sign of rust." I don't have to respect the boy to like him. He inherited the shit from his hag-raven of a mother, and it was nothing short of a miracle. I do. I've served under a few captains in my day, and most of them were unruly taskmasters. Fortunately, the boy is as soft as seaweed. Grew up on land with his father, some coin counter for the East Empire Company. So the boy has no experience at sea, and even less with men. He doesn't like raising his voice or telling the crew what to do. Well, if his mother were here, she'd tell him to be assertive, confident. The boy certainly tries to be, and some days he halfway gets there. Only being halfway confident is like being halfway pregnant. All I have to do is complain a bit, and he'll fold faster than a torn sail. It's a good thing, too. The boy's too scared of Ravam, and he doesn't like pushing Guthrum in his old age. That just leaves me. Greener than pond scum, and just as wet behind the ears. The boy needs a bloody chart just to find his crotch. The other day, he got the lover and the shadow mixed up, and nearly sailed us right into a glacier teeming with ice wraiths. I think the divines Guthrum smucked the boy and took the helm. The place was a sudden death trap. I almost would have preferred the captain sail us into oblivion. One of these days he just might. That's not likely. It takes stones to strip a man of his livelihood. It's like killing someone, only you have to look them in the eye. It's you, and you alone, has to tell him his children will starve. You have to stand before him, man to man, and tell him he has to sell his wife to a stronghold to spend the rest of her life as some orc love slave. Only the captain wouldn't do that. He wants to be liked. He cares too much. We aren't sailors to him, we're family. Nothing good ever came out of caring. There is two ways to happiness in this world. One's bitter and cold and comes in a bottle. The other is just learning to be cold. Then you'll go far in life. Just look at me. My pockets are heavy and my burdens are light. It wasn't always so, the way old Lady Wayfinder worked us. She always wanted the knots redone, or the deck washed, or the mast inspected. The boy wouldn't know the mast from the bow if it wasn't written down in some book. Guthrum keeps the vessel seaworthy, but as far as I'm concerned, we ought to stay on land and let the boy play captain of the docks. Right then.
Yes? Can I help you?
I don't owe you money, do I? I don't owe you money, do I?
Thoring runs the inn. To him.
The Wind Peak Inn features the bard in all of Dawnstar. Sorry if my father seems a bit distracted. A lot's happened.
I don't understand, Sorax. Why can't you come with us?
It's complicated, but right now you need to get on that boat and stay with our son. If the gods will, he may live to see the dawn.
And what about you?
Don't worry. I can take care of myself. It's the boy that needs you.
What the boy needs is his father, alive and well. You'd do good to remember that.
I will. Oh, it's you. Strange that we meet again, given these circumstances. My son, he's taken ill. And worse yet, I think it might have to do with what happened that day. Aye. My boy takes after his mother. Never been sick a day in his life. Yes, but there's only one way to be sure. We have to find the others. If their houses are in peril, then we'll know for sure.
I know you're kind, always sneaking about.
I don't like taking orders from a boy, but I need the gold.
Our son took ill recently. Sorax blames himself, but I have no idea why.
Sorax, you fool! You brought this plague upon my house.
So it's true then? Was it your husband?
He's not my husband anymore. He's a bloody corpse.
What happened?
He was working the mills, same as always. 10 years we've been married, and he never got so much as a splinter.
Heed my words.
The other day a log got
Perfection that
jammed.
cannot be
We went over
preserved
to inspect
must be
Then the mill just
removed.
turned on, like it had a mind of its own.
It could have been an accident.
And what about the elf's children? Was that an accident too?
No. This is true.
Yeah. Carol, my firstborn, playing with the family dog of all things.
My son has taken ill as well.
You see? It's the curse. It's poisoned all our houses, and there's only one way to end it.
Hold on. There has to be another way.
Hate to say it, but Cleara's right. We talked it over and you're the strongest among us. Which means you'll have to die first.
Wait, you don't want to do this?
Die as they lived.
They were wrong, you know. Killing me wouldn't have helped. Even if they had given themselves to the cross, the plague would haunt our houses forever. She said there were 4. 4 who had to die for the curse to be lifted. And even with my death, I only count 3. I'm sorry, friend, but it must be done. I only hope for the sake of our houses. Both our lives end here.